In economics, returns to scale and economies of scale are related but different terms that describe what happens as the scale of production increases in the long run, when all input levels including physical capital usage are variable. The term returns to scale arises in the context of a firm's production function. It explains the behavior of the rate of increase in output relative to the associated increase in the inputs in the long run. In the long run, all factors of production are variable and subject to change due to a given increase in size, while economies of scale show the effect of an increased output level on unit costs. Returns to scale focus only on the relation between input and output quantities. The laws of returns to scale are a set of three interrelated and sequential laws. Law of increasing returns to scale, law of constant returns to scale, and law of diminishing returns to scale. If output increases by that same proportional change as all inputs change, then there are constant returns to scale. If output increases by less than that proportional change in inputs, there are decreasing returns to scale. If output increases by more than that proportional change in inputs, there are increasing returns to scale. A firm's production function could exhibit different types of returns to scale in different ranges of output. Typically, there could be increasing returns at relatively low output levels, decreasing returns at relatively high output levels, and constant returns at one output level between those ranges. In mainstream microeconomics, the returns to scale faced by a firm are purely technologically imposed and are not influenced by economic decisions or by market conditions. Example: when all inputs increase by a factor of 2, new values for output will be twice the previous output if there are constant returns to scale, less than twice the previous output if there are decreasing returns to scale, more than twice the previous output if there are increasing returns to scale. Assuming that the factor costs are constant, a firm experiencing constant returns will have constant long-run average costs. A firm experiencing decreasing returns will have increasing long-run average costs, and a firm experiencing increasing returns will have decreasing long-run average costs. However, this relationship breaks down if the firm does not face perfectly competitive factor markets. For example, if there are increasing returns to scale in some range of output levels, but the firm is so big in one or more input markets that increasing its purchases of an input drives up the inputs per unit cost, then the firm could have diseconomies of scale in that range of output levels. Conversely, if the firm is able to get bulk discounts of an input, then it could have economies of scale in some range of output levels even if it has decreasing returns in production in that output range. Formal definitions. Formally, a production function is defined to have constant returns to scale if, increasing returns to scale if, decreasing returns to scale if, where K and L are factors of production, capital and labor, respectively. In a more general setup, for a multi-input, multi-output production processes, one may assume technology can be represented via some technology set, call it, which must satisfy some regularity conditions of production theory. In this case, the property of constant returns to scale is equivalent to saying that technology set is a cone, i.e., satisfies the property. In turn, if there is a production function that will describe the technology set, it will have to be homogeneous of degree 1. Formal example. The Cobb-Douglas functional form has constant returns to scale when the sum of the exponents adds up to 1. The function is wherein. Thus, but if the Cobb-Douglas production function has its general form with, then there are increasing returns if b plus c greater than 1 but decreasing returns if b plus c less than 1, since which is greater than or less than as b plus c is greater or less than 1.